And happy Wednesday, June 15th, 2022, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, in the flesh as always, and he is.
This is tag team partner, none other than the Jonathan Randall himself. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here to bring you the news, what's going on inside the world of wrestling. But I think the news that we're bringing to you is there's a difference between the news that we give you and the news that has been going on, especially as of right now, because there's been too much going on right now. A lot to dig into right now.
Yes, and we had two major stories break within the last 48 hours, and we're going to get into the one that just broke today. It was reported today by the Wall Street Journal that the WWE Board of Directors is looking into a secret $3 million settlement that longtime chief executive Vince McMahon agreed to pay to a departing employee with whom he allegedly had an affair, according to documents and people familiar with the board inquiry. A January 22nd separation agreement agreed upon by the unnamed woman and the WWE bars the now former employee who was hired as a paralegal in 2019 from discussing her relationship with Mr. McMahon or disparaging him, the people said. The board's investigation, which began in April, has unearthed other older non-disclosure agreements involving claims by former female WWE employees of misconduct by Mr. McMahon and one of his top executives, John Laurinaitis, the head of talent relations at WWE, the people said. The journal couldn't determine how many previous agreements were being scrutinized. The 3 million was discovered by board members after a series of anonymous emails from someone claiming to be a friend of the paralegal. The first email sent to board members on March 30th alleged that Mr. McMahon, 76 years old, initially hired the woman at a salary of $100,000, but increased it to $200,000 after beginning a sexual relationship with her. The email to the board also alleged that Mr. McMahon gave her like a toy to Mr. Laurinaitis. The board is investigating the allegations in the email, the people familiar with the inquiry said. My friend was so scared, so she quit after Vince McMahon and lawyer Jerry paid her millions of dollars to shut up, the initial email to the board said, referring to Mr. McMahon's longtime lawyer, Mr. McDevitt, who negotiated the deal according to people familiar with the board inquiry. The company tells Wall Street Journal the relationship was consensual and is cooperating with the inquiry. So what do you think?
Oh my God. All right. First of all, let's just agree that we're both shocked.
I am and I'm not. I am and I'm not.
Yeah, I'm just shocked. You just to hear about the situation. It's crazy. We hear about news like this all the time. You know what I mean? In other, outside wrestling.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. But man, it's pretty shocking, and there's going to be a conclusion to this. Um, you just scratch your head and just kind of like, man, what were you like? I don't know what's the purpose of all this. You know what I mean? Like, what were you thinking? But again, just shocked, and I don't just what's the logical thinking behind what Vince was doing, or if it was true.
Bro, you know how it goes with people in these freaking positions? It's because they have the money and the power to do it.
I know, but it's not just about the money. It's just like the actions behind it. Vince was just using the money, just like, okay, you just keep quiet on it. Everybody does that, but it's not. That's not the point I'm trying to get to. It's just like the action behind it, the money, because of what he was doing.
And yeah, and it's funny. I remember Vince was on the Howard Stern show about like 20 years ago, like around the time of the invasion stuff. And he even admitted that he
Yeah.
used to cheat on his wife, he used to cheat on Linda, but that he didn't anymore.
Oh
And looks like that was bullshit.
wow. You just curious what Linda's gonna think about this.
It wouldn't surprise me if she probably knows certain things. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But I have heard these things about Vince dating back to like the 80s.
Do Oh, okay.
I read a story
Mm.
about on like Vince's Wikipedia. I was reading a story of something that happened in 1986 where they actually had a female referee back then, and supposedly Vince like tried to force himself on her like in the back of a limousine and try to force her to suck his dick.
You serious?
That's what I read about. Yeah, and there was also an incident like around the time of the '06 Royal Rumble, like at his house in Boca, in like his community in Boca, where like he also tried to force himself on a woman.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard about this about Vince more than once.
Wow.
And honestly, when you look at like some of the stuff you'd see on TV, specifically in the Attitude Era, like with him getting a lap dance from Stacy Keibler, and like the shit he was doing with Trish and Tori Wilson and all that jazz and
It makes you
Sable.
now. It
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It makes you really like, well, damn. Like he's really like this is how he really is in real life. And before that, we would think, oh, it's just for entertainment in a show. But it's scary now to hear about this. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that because the stuff that he was doing on camera, wow, he's kind of like doing this in real life.
It's crazy, man. I mean, I'm not surprised because the dude owns the company. He could do whatever he want. He's just basically like kind of trolling people in that sense. Now that I look at it that way, like this is what I do in real life. Nanny, nanny, nanny.
And you know what? You gotta think about it. Regardless of how much you try to pay somebody to keep quiet about it, dude. Majority of the time, it's not going to work.
It's like that saying from Wolf of Wall Street that the dad tells Leonardo DiCaprio's character, "Someday the chickens are gonna come home to roost."
Huh. I gotta watch that movie again.
Yeah, it's a classic. But anyway,
Yeah.
John Laurinaitis is also on the hook for this apparently too.
Yeah. Let's not forget about him now. Yeah, his name was on the list too, and uh, this is very disturbing to hear the sex toy part. That was just man.
I guess now that explains like the meetings they were having in NXT that Ember Moon was talking about, where like John Laurinaitis was like telling them how they need to dress more sexual and they need to like dress like more revealing clothing and all that jazz.
Yeah, makes sense now.
And even Nia Jax put out a tweet a couple months ago talking about how there are a lot of talented female ladies out in that work in WWE, but unfortunately the ones in power can't see past their perverted ways. Yeah, people dismiss that as like just WWE bitterness, but now that this situation has come out, maybe not so much.
You just gotta wait until see what happens with the situation.
But it's looking like more than likely John Laurinaitis is going to be the fall guy in all this.
Huh.
I wouldn't surprise me to see within the next couple of days or so that John Laurinaitis has resigned from his position.
Hmm.
And you know what's funny? John Laurinaitis is actually married to the Bella Twins' mom.
Where are you? Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, he is. He is. They've been married for a
Wow.
couple of years now.
Oh, you just wait until she wait her reaction. It's gonna be he's
Ooh,
gonna
it's not going to
resign
be
and where's
pretty.
that breakup? No, it's not. It's not. And I'm sorry. There was what was the timeline again? I remember seeing a 2019.
She was hired in 2019,
Okay.
and then she was given like a raise from $100,000 to $200,000,
Yeah.
and then
Once the situation started to happen. Yeah.
and considering all the budget cuts they were happening last year, specifically, that did look sketchy, and they found out
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, this is ugly, and it's funny that Stephanie McMahon like just resigned a few months ago, like right before all this came out. But apparently,
Yeah.
she was already still there, like when the investigation started. But
Yeah.
still,
True.
there was also some other funny stuff I was hearing about the whole Stephanie thing about like how she was kind of like I guess in over her head in the position she was in, and they kind of put out that story that she was taking a leave of absence to just save face, so like she wouldn't look bad on the way out. Don't know how true that is, but it is possible.
I don't know, but I mean, regardless if she left or not, I mean, she, like you said earlier, I mean, she was around with the company during that time. So
Or possibly maybe she saw how ugly it was about to get, so she wanted to get out now before it really hit the fan.
you may never know. But if her name is, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's from what I was reading. She like knew about it for a while anyway, but even before she left. But
Let's not forget about Shane as well. Shane,
and
she
Shane's gone
wanted that
too.
too.
It's funny. Shane and Stephanie are both out of the company.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
And I was seeing another story that maybe it was Nick Khan who leaked it as like a power play to get rid of Vince.
Huh.
I wouldn't dig too deeply into that until like there's actual legit reason, but you never know, bro. We don't know these
No,
people.
no, we don't. We don't know these people, and really don't know like the full story behind closed doors. So you just gotta wait until see what happens when the court date and the case is settled and everything. So
Damn, this is not gonna make Vince look good at all. I remember my friend who used to be a wrestler. She told me that she like met Vince once, and like once he met her, he just like looked, just stared at her titties the whole time.
you serious? Wow,
That's what she told me. Yeah, that's what she told me.
wow.
Yeah, but like I said, man, like now that we look back at that stuff, like during the Attitude Era and like the period afterwards, like you can tell, yeah, maybe there's something there with Vince as far as like that kind of.
Yeah, we were all thinking, oh, it's just entertainment, but that is kind of scary to think about that now. That knowing that, okay, the stuff that he was doing on camera, he's actually is doing it in real life.
Yeah, he made out with Tori Wilson on screen. He made out with Trish on screen. He made out with Sable on screen. Yeah, you got and had like all the divas like wash his limo during SummerSlam '05 in their bikinis and shit.
Yeah, let's not forget made Trish bark like a dog.
Yeah, and then the lap dance from Stacy Keibler when he faints.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't think I
yeah.
can watch these segments the same anymore now. All right, but let's get to the other breaking story that actually broke on Monday as Jeff Hardy was arrested in Volusia County, Florida, Monday morning on charges of driving with a suspended license, violating restrictions placed on his license, which required him to keep an ignition interlock device on his car, and a felony DUI.
Wow.
According to the Florida Highway Patrol officers, they observed a white vehicle swerving and running off the road. They stated that once they got Hardy to pull over and they approached, he seemed confused, belligerent, and smelled of alcohol. The
Wow.
arrest report states that Hardy could not complete any portion of the field sobriety test the officers had him do, and he blew a blood alcohol level of 0.291, well
Yikes.
above Florida's legal limit of 0.08.
Wow. Wow.
Also, three different officers had to pull out a gun on him because he was not responding to when they were trying to get his attention.
Wow.
And if you watch the video of like how it all goes down, there's like a brief period where like you see the car moving a little bit after they had pulled him over. But apparently that's because he couldn't get the car in the park.
He's too intoxicated to.
Yeah, this is an ugly. He was already been bailed, but yeah,
He may have been bailed, Kurt, but he was not bailed from AEW because it was reported that the next day Tony Khan released a statement saying that they will not. He was pretty much off the contract. He was pretty much leave without pay, and if he wants to come back, he needs to take a pretty much take a recovery classes to get back on track if he wants to come back. But yeah, he's off indefinitely.
yeah, Tony Khan suspended him indefinitely without pay, and he's not going to be brought back until he can prove that he's like maintained his sobriety, and also he has to complete rehab as
Yeah,
well.
and there's been this ever since the situation occurred. There's been that debate because you know how the way he left WWE and everybody's talking about well Vince and everybody else had offered to help him.
Yeah, because of the way that match went down in that 6-man tag, where like he
Yeah,
just randomly left the match and like
yeah,
walked into the crowd.
yeah.
Admittedly, his drug test did come back negative.
That is true. That I mean, that is a good way to see it. But it's just like nothing has changed.
Yeah, and in all honesty, ever since he's come to AEW, something seemed off with him. Like
Really?
some of the matches he's been, yeah, like some of the matches he's been in, you could like tell that like he's in a lot of pain for one. And the one that probably gets criticized the most is the match that happened in Double or Nothing between Matt and Jeff and the Young Bucks. There was a lot of criticism about that match, about the fact that like Jeff seemed like he wasn't all there and that like something was wrong.
Hmm. Even Booker T even stated that. You even told me this the other day that Booker T had made a statement saying how like it's because of the matches, the type of matches that he's participated in ever since he's been in AEW could be the reason.
That there is truth to that. I have been like noticing that they've been putting him like, in like a lot of like ladder matches and a lot of violent matches and all that lately. Hell, he was supposed to
Yeah,
be in a ladder match on Dynamite tonight,
yeah, yeah,
which is now just changed from a three-way to just a tag team ladder match between the Jurassic Express and also the Young Bucks. But that's another story. Yeah, it just and like you've just noticed that like he's been like in a lot of pain lately, and like you notice that like he's not. I know he's getting older, but he's just like not
yeah.
the Jeff Hardy that we were used to.
Oh no, of course not. I mean,
Yeah, there and yeah, granted, maybe Tony Khan shouldn't be putting him in these kind of matches and shouldn't have been putting him in these kind of matches. But at the end of the day, Jeff Hardy's a grown adult, and also Jeff Hardy's had these problems for years. These aren't
Yeah,
problems
and
that just
you're
started that when he went came to AEW. He's had these problems for decades.
Yep. And like I told you before you went on the air, I already knew about the situation already, but my girlfriend told me about it, and she doesn't even watch wrestling, and but she knows who the Hardy Boys are and all that, and I told her like I'm telling you, and like I'm telling everybody else now. Jeff had these problems for years. I think, damn, since like for 15 years, 20 years almost. It's been a problem.
He got fired in 2003 for that.
Yeah,
Because you
so
noticed, because like you remember like him like towards the end of 2002, beginning of 2003. You remember like how it seemed like something was off with him.
yeah, he wasn't on TV as much, and
Not
like
even
kind of
that.
like towards the yeah.
Even when you saw him on TV, you noticed that something was different and not in a good way.
Mm,
Because you remember that 6 man from 2002 Survivor Series, right?
yes.
I remember one specific spot that they actually edited out of the network version where like Rico's standing like backwards on the top rope and like the rope is supposed to shake and whatever and he's supposed to fall off. In the unedited version, you could see a part where like Rico's trying to get Jeff's attention saying, Jeff, god damn it, Jeff, where are you? Because I guess Jeff apparently was like late to do the spot or whatever.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like back then, I noticed that. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here?
Mm,
And I know that was a time frame when like Jeff's problems were like really getting bad. Matt's talked about this because
yeah.
when Matt and Jeff were on Raw together, right when the brand split happened originally, things were cool. But then when they split them up and Jeff was on his own and he didn't have Matt there, like to look out for him and all that, that's when Jeff started falling into like those bad vices and also started falling into the wrong crowd. And then that eventually led to him getting released the next year when he like refused to go to rehab.
Wow. You're right, man. I mean, at the end of the day, he is an adult, and you have to be responsible for your actions, and he's not showing it, and it saddens me, man. I've compared this sadly to DMX, where over and over and over again, you just have all these problems, and nothing has changed.
And he's definitely a more likable person than her, but also most recently you could also say Sunny.
True, yeah, it is true.
Even though it hasn't gone that far, thank God.
I know, but DUI occurred.
But
I
in this
mean,
situation, it could have. He was swerving off the
yeah,
road and running off the road. Yo, that's not
bro,
good.
it was way. I know, and let's not forget he was way over the limit, over the state limit.
Almost 4 times the legal limit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And if you saw the video, like the surveillance video of him getting pulled over, that looks like a busy ass highway.
What part of Florida was this at again?
Volusia County.
Volusia County.
It's like northeast Florida. Northeast Florida.
Okay, got you.
This is his third arrest, alcohol related, in 3 years.
Yikes.
He got arrested
Yikes.
twice in 2019, once for public intoxication, another time for driving while impaired.
Oh,
It seems like more than anything else, the last few years, his problems are more with alcohol than like with hard drugs and pills and stuff.
yeah, but it's
Still not
still
okay though.
but it's not okay. No, it's not. It's still a personal problem where it's affecting you and it also can harm others, and it's affecting your career wise.
Also, he has a wife and 2 kids at home too. Affects them also.
Yeah, yeah. Drugs or alcohol related doesn't matter. Whatever problem that you have, if it affects you personally, it's going to affect you bad.
Yeah,
Not just yourself, but the people around you.
there's definitely some personal trauma with Jeff Hardy that's definitely caused him to do this for as long as he has. It's not an excuse.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse. It doesn't make it all
No.
right, but I definitely could tell there's some like personal trauma because the one thing I do know is that they both lost their mother when they were really young.
Yeah. I know that.
I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. If I had to take a guess, I'm sure that's definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
And the injuries are probably a part of it too. He probably did a lot of that stuff and was doing and still doing a lot of that stuff to numb the pain.
Yeah. There's different ways to do it though, but that's not the right way to do it. If it is true.
No, I'm not excusing his actions by no stretch, but I'm saying
No, I know.
those could have been contributing factors to
Yeah.
why he's doing what he's
Yeah.
doing.
That's what I'm saying. If it was true,
But
though, I mean, it's still not the. If it is true, that still is not the right way to do it. There's other ways to do it.
And it's also not fair to blame Matt Hardy or like other people in like Jeff's inner circle for like the fact that he's had these problems, because at the end of the
No,
day, they can't babysit him 24 hours a day.
we can't, and I've seen that where they've been blaming him, and that's not fair. It's not right. I understand, the old saying, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Yes, you have to be there for your brother, but that doesn't mean you have to be like babysitting them. At the end of the day, your brother or sibling, brother, sister, they're gonna grow. They're gonna grow up. They're gonna be responsible adults, and they're responsible themselves to look out after themselves majority of the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna read a exchange online with Matt Hardy. Bill DeMott was also in it too.
Ah,
Yeah, this one person posted saying, "What about Matt Hardy, who was getting drunk with him and let him drive, knowing he was drunk and doesn't have a license? Full accountability." And the person tags Tony Khan in the tweet, and then Bill DeMott responded to this saying, "It's a good question, because I don't know if you know, Bill DeMott's daughter actually died because of a drunk driver.
oh, I did not know that.
That's why he was also calling Sonny out a couple weeks ago because of her whole situation." And
Oh,
then Sonny put out that tweet responding to him where she like really came off classless as fuck.
yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like with the situation with Sonny, it's kind of hard to, and also like in another situation, like I know it's unrelated, but Wendy Williams with like her issues, it's kind of hard to feel sorry for people like them because of the way they act and the way they treat people and how they behave.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
All right, but anyway, but then this was Matt Hardy's response. "I understand your passion on this and agree that drunk driving is unacceptable. I expect speculation from fans, but not from you. I haven't touched a drug in over a decade, haven't drank since I've been a dad. Saw Jeff last on Sunday night and flew early Monday with Rebby Hardy, his wife. I can't be with Jeff every minute."
Hey, just like I said, we get the whole "Am I my brother's keeper?" saying, but dude, you have your own life. You can't be babysitting your brother 24/7. You have to return to your life, focus on what you have to do. Yes, be there for your brother if he's in need, but that does not mean 24/7 you have to be around him all the time.
Yeah, Matt Hardy's married with 4 freaking kids. He has his own responsibilities and his own shit to deal with.
Right.
Matt Hardy had his problems too. Like when he left WWE, like in 2010, and then when he was like first went to TNA, he was as bad as Jeff Hardy is now.
Wow.
And I don't. Did you ever hear the story of like right after Jeff Hardy left in like 2009, like a few weeks later, like his house got raided and they found like a bunch of drugs in there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like reading about that story and the amount of shit they found in his house. It's insane, and it's insane. He only had to do 10 days in jail.
Wow.
I mean, 10 days in jail is still 10 days too much. 10 days, like I wouldn't want to go through, but still.
10 days. That's really funny how um what was his name? Basketball player for the Charlotte Hornets. He got in trouble because he had a bunch of weed in his car. Montrezl Harris. Guess how many years he may be doing?
How many years?
5.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
And Jeff only did 10, and that was a lot. You say, huh?
10 days, not 10 years. 10 days in jail.
I know I said 10 days though, but they found a lot stashed in his house, right?
They found like controlled prescription pills, anabolic steroids, 266. I'm sorry, 262 Vicodin prescription pills, 180 Soma pills, 555 millimeters of anabolic steroids, a residual amount of powder cocaine, and drug paraphernalia.
Wow.
And he got 10 days in jail, 30 months of probation, and a fine of $100,000 for it.
Mm.
And not to mention the other times he got suspended by WWE for violating the wellness policy. One of them had even caused him to miss WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yep. Because I was
Yeah, it's
wondering how
crazy.
come he was gone. Because the dude was just literally at No Way Out the month before, and he was like the last two in the elimination chamber. And next thing you know, like he was gone after that. I was wondering, what was going on. I was like, dude, why did he? I don't see Jeff anymore. He didn't come back not till like say the summer.
I remember he was on the one night stand card where he went against Umaga, so he must have been back like
Yeah,
around May.
yeah, like pretty much like towards the beginning of the summer.
This whole situation is just sad more than anything else. And I love Jeff Hardy. He seems like a good dude. Everybody who's met him and been around him said he's cool as fuck. He's a really good guy. But a situation like this, you just can't give him a pass for.
No,
You can't. I hope he
no.
doesn't go to prison for 5 years, but something has to happen out of this.
Like I said, man, it's been happening too much. We've seen situations with a bunch of celebrities, DMX, prime example, where it's gonna stop, man. You know what I mean? So, and this is not that's something not to joke about because life is short. You know, sad to say, not trying to scare anybody, but you can't be playing around like that.
No, not at all. And I just hope for Jeff's sake and for the sake of everybody around him that he somehow, some way, this is the wake up call that finally sticks.
I hope so too. Let's hope and pray.
Yeah, because we don't want to come across our timelines on social media to find a story that Jeff Hardy has sadly been taken from us. That's the last
Yeah,
thing I want to see.
that's what I'm afraid of. When I see stuff like that, not just with him, but with anybody else. The same thing goes for Sonny, and any kind of celebrity. That's like the one thing we do not want to see when we see people go through problems like this.
Yeah, you don't want to see them end up dead in an early age, and also you don't want to see us like the situation with Sonny where they end up taking somebody else's life.
Right.
Hoping that somehow Jeff Hardy can wake up from this, and hoping that this is finally that the thing that forces him to change his ways for good.
Yeah.
All right, but moving on. 10 days ago, we had the Hell in a Cell pay per view taking place from Chicago that was sold out.
As always, it's not a surprise.
And I have to say, it was a pretty damn good show.
Surprisingly, we weren't expecting that, huh?
The last three pay per views, including WrestleMania, had really lackluster builds, but turned out to be good shows in the end.
Yeah.
And that's kudos to the talent for overcoming, mediocre booking and also, I'm sorry, mediocre storylines and mediocre builds to these pay per views and still finding a way to deliver in the end.
Yep. This goes to show you how talented our talent that we do have, despite of whatever stuff that we're going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let's break down the card real fast. So, in the opening match, Bianca Belair retained her Raw Women's Championship at a triple threat match against Becky Lynch and Asuka. And damn, what a match this was! Yo, I have to say that was probably maybe the best match of the night, or if not the second best match of the night. What'd you think of it?
All right, I have to say this. I haven't yet to watch it because I've been so caught up with work, but I do know the results. I do know what happened. I had a good feeling it was going to be a good match. I knew it kind of did. It look like Becky almost had a chance to win. Be honest.
Yeah, the way it ended was Becky hit Asuka with the man slam, and she was about to pin Asuka, but then Bianca threw Becky out of the ring and then pinned Asuka and won the match.
Oh wow! So this is not over yet.
I don't know if they're gonna get back to it just yet because Bianca's going against Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank,
Ah, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's looking like Asuka and Becky are more than likely gonna be in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Uh,
Yeah, but great match though. All three of them killed it.
which is no surprise. I'm actually happy to hear that. Which no surprise.
Also on the card, Bobby Lashley defeated Omos and MVP in a handicap match.
A submission.
Yeah, he put MVP in the submission. I'm sorry, in the hurt lock, and then got him to submit, and Bobby Lashley was the winner. But I have to say, the diss MVP made the Lashley that came out before the match was mad dope.
Oh wow! What did he say?
He put out a rap song pretty much dissing him, like and like made a reference to like how he resurrected his career after the whole Lana thing broke up.
Oh,
I'll send it to you. It was dope. Yeah, I'll send it to
okay.
you. It was mad dope.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay.
In the third match, Kevin Owens did defeat Ezekiel, which was a solid, fun match for what it was. And on Raw Monday, Elias will be making his return, as Ezekiel announced it this past Monday on Raw, and Elias will be giving us a concert too.
Oh really?
We're gonna see how this works out.
Oh yeah. Huh.
I guess they're gonna maybe try to do like an Edge and Christian conquistadors type thing, like they did back in the day.
Oh God. Stop.
Hey, did you ever see Man on the Moon?
With Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
The only part that I saw is when he was wrestling. That's when I saw Jerry Lawler. I mean, that's the whole thing I've known about it and I saw, but other than that, I really didn't see it.
All right. Well, the Andy Kaufman dude, like the dude who Jim Carrey plays in the movie, Andy Kaufman. Back in the
Yeah.
day, he had this alter ego named Tony Clifton, and like everybody swore that it was him. Everybody swore that it was Andy Kaufman. Like every time they saw him, but then there was this one time where Tony Clifton was performing on stage, and then Andy Kaufman showed up.
What?
Yeah, that was Andy
Wow.
Kaufman's MO. He would just do things to fuck with the audience.
Wow. That's funny.
I could see some shit going down on Money with Ezekiel and Elias, kind of similar to that.
That's funny.
And then
Let's.
And then Kevin Owens is gonna flip out and have a meltdown, and they're gonna have to put him in a straitjacket.
That's a funny way to put it. Let's. That's a good thing you brought that up. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yes, and in the next match, Judgment Day, Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley defeated AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan.
Which of no surprise. I mean, Judgment Day is on a hot streak. I suppose.
They
I
were.
suppose. I suppose.
We'll get into what happened the next night on Raw in a few minutes, but let's
Yeah.
break down the rest of the
Yeah.
card. Madcap Moss defeated Happy Corbin. No surprise.
And he looks different now.
Yeah, he does. They switched up his look.
Yeah. Good.
I've been hearing that he could possibly be like the one of the faces of the company along with Theory in a few years. How like Theory's being built from it from the heel side.
Yeah.
Moss could be that for the babyface side.
I can see that. I can see that. And that's funny you mentioned Theory because speaking of Theory, in the next match, Theory retained his U.S. title and defeated Mustafa Ali, which was not a surprise. I mean, Theory's on a hot streak as a heel. So even though we're in his home in Mustafa Ali's hometown of Chicago, Theory needed to win that match. Pretty much put that more heat on him.
And you know what's funny? Theory got the loudest heel reaction of the night. The crowd hated his guts.
I'm starting to like him. I
Me
really am. I
too.
mean,
Me too. I like
yeah,
him.
I thought the whole thing with Vince was kind of little bit corny a little bit, but it kind of drew on me after that a little bit, and I started to like him more now.
Yeah, he grew on me. He's grown on me over the last few months.
Yeah, yeah,
He's good. He's very good in his role. He's even in
yeah,
NXT. I thought he was good in that role that he was playing there, where like he was like the goofy idiot type thing,
yeah. That's why I think I didn't really take him so seriously
or
when he came onto the.
the dumb jock, I guess, in a sense.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think that's maybe why I couldn't take him a little. I didn't take him that much serious when he came to the main roster. Again, it had to grow on me.
Yeah, but it's looking good. And we'll get into one of Theory's potential matches he might have coming up in a few months, in a few minutes too. But before we get into that, let's talk about the main event. It was Cody Rhodes who would be competing with a torn pec against Seth Rollins inside
Jesus.
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and I saw that picture. That picture was all over the place. And two things. Number one, how did he tore his pec? And number two, I'm just surprised. Let's just a round of applause for Cody Rhodes for him to have a torn pec and still perform great in that match. And the match was like 24 minutes, Kurt.
Yeah, they killed it. It was a great match, but
Yeah, man, a round of applause for Cody Rhodes.
yeah, because
Not taking anything away from Seth Rollins. We're not. I know he did his part too, but dude, to have a torn pec and to be able to still just hold up your own, that's a lot.
yeah, that was definitely a performance to remember. And you could put that on the same level as like Triple H still finishing the match with the quad, or any other like heroic, gutsy performance by any other wrestler in any time in history, because that shit was something special. And the match they put on,
Yeah,
the match they had considering those circumstances is definitely something that deserves to be celebrated.
and that kind of match is just. But again, I mean, how did he tore his pec in the first place?
He tore it by working out. That's the story I read.
Ooh, probably too hard. Wow.
But even despite the torn pec and the condition that he was in, Cody Rhodes ended up winning the match after hitting Rollins with two crossroads, followed by nailing him in the face with the sledgehammer.
Wow.
But one thing we forgot to mention: props to Seth Rollins for his choice of ring attire that night. The throwback to the dusty polka dots was a nice touch.
Oh, dude,
That
hey,
was
I'm telling you
classic.
right now, Seth has just been. I've noticed when it comes to when it comes to the feuds as for this year, he's been getting in the heads of people when it comes to his attire. Let's go back to Royal Rumble, wearing the Shield attire when he faced Roman Reigns. That was something, and now he does this. Where's
Yo,
Dusty Rhodes? Come on.
yo, how funny is that Money in the Bank poster with him and Becky?
Oh
Oh
God,
my god.
I could hear him laugh. Kurt, I could just hear him laughing by just looking at the poster.
I can imagine being like some bougie ass married couple like walking into the Plaza Hotel and like throwing their bags at the mate, the concierge or whatever, like the person who grabs your bags.
To the you mean to the bellhop?
Yeah. Yo, did you ever watch DuckTales? Did you ever watch DuckTales?
Just a little bit.
I can imagine the two of them jumping in like the pool of gold coins like Scrooge McDuck used to do and like posting them in
Oh,
the air.
stop! Stop it! Oh my God!
All I see is signs. All I see
Um,
is dollar signs. Oh, money on my mind. Money on my mind. Oh, shit.
you know what? Probably Money to Bank. They needed a little video where Becky and Seth are going to any of the hotels, and he's just doing that laugh, and he's throwing his bags at the bellhop, and just
Oh, yo, they're both cracking me up now. Like I love both of them on TV these days.
I know, dude.
All right, but
Oh
back
man.
to yeah, but those polka dots were like a night were such a. I would have never thought of him doing that, but damn, he pulled that shit off well.
Oh, me neither. Me neither. Me neither. I thought what he did at the Royal Rumble was something, but man, I mean, I'm just curious what he's gonna do moving forward for the next feud he has. You know?
Yeah, but the next night on Raw, Cody came out to like give a speech about the match and basically talk about how the feud with Rollins is over. And then Rollins came out and actually gave him props, saying how he respected him and even shook his hand.
Ah,
But when I watch this, I'm like, yo, they can't end this like this. Something else is gonna happen. It has to. But then when
yeah,
Rollins left,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe they're gonna just keep it like this. This is interesting. But
Ah,
then as Cody was leaving, I'm like, yeah, Rollins is gonna probably show up. And then what do you know? Rollins sneaks up from behind and attacks him, hits him with the sledgehammer, and attacks the injured Peck. And that's gonna be the last we see of Cody on WWE television, probably for the rest of the year.
for a way to write him off, he needs surgery. And
He had surgery on Wednesday. He had surgery last week.
oh, speaking of that, similar to that, there's something else I want to bring up, but I want to say this real quick. So yeah, he already has surgery. Glad to hear that. But one question had me rumbling in my mind. If he had not gotten hurt, right? Was Cody Rhodes going to be the guy to win the Money in the Bank contract?
Maybe it's a possibility.
Okay, because it kind of
But
sad to see that, man. Like I just like damn, like you had to get
but
hurt. Money in the Bank is literally like around the corner, and this happens. You know what I mean? So
but I'll say this: it sucks that he got hurt. Period, and also the fact that he got hurt at this time. Because look,
yeah,
he literally just debuted at WrestleMania. He's only been in the company for what 2.5 months.
yeah,
He's pretty much been positioned like as the top good guy on Raw, and now he's getting hurt, and he's going to be out for like over 6 months, if not longer.
yeah, yeah.
But I will say, for the performance he put on at Hell in a Cell, there is no way he's not getting the title when he gets back.
Course not. Of course not. After that gutsy performance, of course not. Again, round of applause.
He had a lot to prove, bro. It was his first main. He just came back to the company. He was in the main event of the show in Chicago. It's sold
Yep,
out, and he's pretty much
yep.
positioned as the top good guy on Raw.
Yep.
I think in his mentality, he knew he had to perform regardless. There was no way
Of course.
he was gonna miss that match.
Suck it up and go through it, and he did. Again, round of applause for Cody Rhodes.
And I think he's a lock to win the Royal Rumble next year.
Yeah, you had mentioned that to me, and I could definitely could see that. Could definitely could see that. I would like to see that. As far as the, I said just recently about how, he need Cody Rhodes had a successful surgery, and I got more good news. Big E's neck brace is off.
Good shit. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw the video of that the other day.
Yes, I was so happy to see that. Yep.
Yeah, it's great progress. Yeah, I'm glad to hear
Hell
that too.
yes.
It's just too bad that Cody did get hurt at this time because
I,
obviously it's the worst freaking timing.
it is.
But I think it's gonna pay off well for him when he gets back. I
Oh,
think
of course.
he's gonna be big. Once he comes back, he's gonna be bigger than ever.
Of course. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and him winning the title at WrestleMania next year would be huge.
That would be huge. And it's funny because we were talking about The Rock and the Cody Rhodes things. You mentioned that. I'm like that could switch. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe.
They could still do Rock and Roman, but it doesn't necessarily have to be for the title.
That's true. That's a good way of pointing it out.
And also considering that Roman's like pretty much not full time anymore, and hell, he hasn't defended the title since WrestleMania.
No.
I don't think he should keep the belts if he's going to be just part time. I don't
No.
think he should, especially until Mania next year. I don't want to see
Yeah.
that. I get him wanting a lighter schedule. I get that. I'm not hating on it, but I just feel like
But
if
you're
he's
the champion though.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
and apparently he's not going to be on Money in the Bank either.
You see, Kurt, you see why they had to move that event from a stadium to a smaller arena. You see,
They made that move before Roman was taken off the card.
still, you got to draw, man. It's kind of weird how you're the champion. You're not going to be on the event. He's probably not going to be on a not. He's probably not going to defend the title again until SummerSlam.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah, he won't be defending the title on a pay per view until SummerSlam. But yeah, just
Yeah,
strange that they avoided putting both belts on Brock Lesnar because he's a part time guy, only to turn around and put it on Roman Reigns, who became part time right after.
yeah. Because they weren't expecting to do that. Now I could safely assume that, let's just say Roman decided to be part time before they put both belts on, they probably would have not have done it. I guess.
Yeah, maybe not, but yeah, this whole I don't know how it's gonna play out like come Mania next year. Maybe he might still maybe have one of the belts by then, or
Maybe.
maybe he'll like just maybe go against Rock like in a match that's not for either title, or maybe he'll lose it and win it back before then. But all I know is Cody Rhodes needs to be winning the WWE title at WrestleMania next year
Hell yes. Hell yes.
because he made that announcement when he came back that he came back to win the WWE title, and now that he's going to be
Mhm.
out for a few months and
Oh
all
my
that,
God, Kurt!
it's
Can you imagine?
there's no better story you can tell. There's no better story you can
I
tell.
know, I know, but remember what he said not too long ago. If he said if he wins that championship, he wants to bring back the original, the original WWE Championship belt from the '80s.
Yes, I would love to see that. That would be great.
God, he did that for the Intercontinental belt 10 years ago. Can
And
you imagine, Kurt?
and I don't know if it was her, but I think I might have served his mom today.
Oh, really?
It looked like her a little bit because I was watching the Dusty Rhodes documentary the other day, and they interviewed Dusty's wife, Cody's mom, on there. And then I saw that when I was at work today, one of the tables I served was a lady who looked just like her. I'm like, oh shit, is that Dusty Rhodes' wife and Cody's mom?
Well, who
I didn't
paid?
I didn't ask her about it or anything, but
But do you get their check and all that stuff? I mean,
yeah, I meant to check the last name, but I
oh
didn't
yeah,
get around to it. I
that'll
usually don't do that anyway, but
gotcha.
yeah, but in any event, that injury looked bad though. Getting back to that real fast,
I,
yo, that like
I
took
know
it when he took his coat off and you saw like the marks all over his chest and his arm, you're like, damn, what the fuck?
that was a big one.
Ooh, it's rough.
That's a big. I've seen pec injuries before, but that's not big as that. Not big as that. That man, and it was all over like most of his arm. I know it's also in the chest area because that's where it is. But dude, it was like all pretty much like throughout like his right arm, man. And
Even those AEW hardcore fans who were booing the shit out of him the last few months he was there couldn't hate on that.
hell no, no. And if you are, there's something wrong with you.
Big time.
Hella hating.
Yeah, but with Roman off Money in the Bank, I'm wondering what. I guess the main event of Money in the Bank will be the men's ladder match.
Obviously, I mean, yeah, you have no title, so the only appropriate way to end that night is to have your ladder matches to end the match. I mean, to end the night.
Which I could see either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn winning. Or never mind. Actually, before we get into Money in the Bank, let's talk about something else that happened on Raw the night after Hell in a Cell. Edge
Oh
and
Lord.
Judgment Day came out to announce the newest member of Judgment Day, and that newest member of Judgment Day happened to be Finn Balor.
Which I have no problem. I have no problem with that.
But here's where it gets interesting. Damian
Uh,
Priest grabs the mic and talks about getting rid of like what makes Judgment Day weak and getting
saying it is a weakest link.
like cutting the dead weight in a sense. And they mention that dead weight is Edge, and they all attack Edge. They put him through the announce table and just pretty much leave his ass laying out. So they pretty much kicked Edge out of
Yeah,
his own damn group.
yeah. I'm already shaking my head. I was shaking my head earlier when I first saw it. Um, to say that Edge is the weak link in the group, his own group, and you guys have been undefeated since the group has been together, and you say that Edge is the weak link, makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't.
If you want to put Finn Balor on there, that's fine. I've never seen Finn Balor as a heel. That's fine. Do something different. But for goodness sakes, for you to kick out the the one who was like pretty much orchestrating this whole thing perfectly, his own scheme idea, and he's the one who gets kicked out, it makes no sense. This dude changed his theme song. He literally, it was like it was actually working. He was changing his methods, his whole, pretty much his whole character around this whole stable that he was creating. And he gets kicked out. Don't get me wrong. I could see if this was like towards the end of the year and they kind of did like a split, that's fine. But they only been a group for how long? What?
2 months.
2 months? Only 2 months. It makes no sense, Kurt. Again, it's stuff like that is why I kind of just turn away from WWE programming sometimes where I'm not really interested in it because of the stuff that they be doing.
Yeah, this whole thing just came out of nowhere. Like the group like literally just formed. They like just started to build momentum and all that jazz, and they just randomly
Yeah,
kick out the dude just like that. Like they barely even got their feet wet.
that's what I'm saying. Of all people, you kick out the leader.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hate them doing this idea, but they could have waited a lot longer until they did it.
A lot longer, Kurt. Like a
I'm not
lot.
sure.
I'm talking about like towards the end of the year or like the beginning of the year, but not 2 months in, dude.
I don't know what the motivation was behind this. I don't know what the decision making behind this was, but it did feel very random. It felt
Oh.
very random.
Rushed, random and rushed, Kurt. Random and rushed.
Yeah, it could be possibly they did this because they needed like another strong good guy now that Cody's out and Edge is like the best choice. But I also heard another story that Edge wanted to work with Finn Balor at SummerSlam, and this was the best way of them to make it happen.
Well, they could have still. I mean, they could have still did that with Edge still being in the group. They could have had maybe did like a Demon Finn Balor versus Edge at SummerSlam. That would have been good.
Nah, but the thing is, Finn Balor's been beaten so many times as a good guy that it wouldn't feel as special, really. But now that Finn's a heel and like he took
But
Edge's
I
group away from initially, then they could do something more with it. And that I can understand. That I can get.
okay, but I did say Demon Finn Balor though.
But the Demon pretty much got killed in that Extreme Rules match last year with Roman.
Oh, I know, but I was one. I was just that one time though. It was
Yeah,
last
but
year.
still, like even if they brought the Demon back, it wouldn't really be that big, as big as it could be at this point.
Mate, well, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're the crowd, I
And
mean, I think anytime
hell,
Demon Finn Balor will come back will be a good time,
hell,
a good
Edge,
thing.
Edge pinned him in the match the night before. Edge already beat him.
And you say that he's the weak link. They say he's the
Yeah.
weak link. Please.
But I will say, like I said before, now that Finn's a bad guy, it would be more interesting in that sense.
I don't know. I feel like this thing is a dud.
That's fair.
I
That's fair. I understand.
I just that's just me personally, man.
I
I
get
feel
it. I
like
get
it's a
it. I
dud.
get it.
You don't do that 2 months in. Imagine the NWO they first start and then like they kick out.
Hogan.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm just funny. It's funny thinking about it. They did that, dude. You're 2 months in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that she would have never. That she wouldn't have made half the impact it did if they had done some crap like that.
Oh my god. You're 2 months in, you kicked out Hogan out of the NWO when he was the one who turned all of his friends to join you guys. Oh my god.
Or when the Four Horsemen first formed and they all turned on Ric Flair. Like a month after that incident at the Omni where they like broke Dusty Rhodes' leg, and then right after that they turn on him.
Oh my god, I can't. Flair would have been pissed.
Tell me about it. I will say it did feel very random. But if that story is true, that Edge wanted to work with Finn Balor at SummerSlam, and this was like the best way to make a story out of it, I guess in a sense I can see why they did it.
I know you said it's random, but it's also rushed. I think
It
the
was,
the,
yeah,
the rush part
I agree.
is
It was rushed.
yeah, the rush part of it is that's like the biggest thing for me. It was rushed. Again, you don't when you form stables. There's a reason why the stables form. You need to give the stable time to get their feet wet to build chemistry, to have momentum. You do not do that and then kill it and then just whatever reason you kick somebody out within like 2 months or a few months. You don't do it. It's not smart.
But I have to ask you something.
Yeah.
Did you really like Edge in this heel role, like in this stage of his career?
At this stage in his career, I mean, um, you know what? To be honest with you, I did like it because let's be real. It's been a long time since we saw Edge as a heel, and I understand that he's accomplished a lot at this point in his career. He's still performing like he wants to. You know what I mean? Why not?
Because I just remember like right when he turned heel, like around WrestleMania
Yeah.
time, I kind of like couldn't really get that into it because of the fact that like it felt like so random and it literally happened like right
Well,
before WrestleMania.
yeah.
And even at WrestleMania, the match with him and AJ, like it was still good, but I just feel like something was missing. And I feel like one of the things that might have been missing was the fact that Edge was now a bad guy and he had just become a bad guy. And it was kind of hard to like have that same investment.
I understand because
Like
of
just some
I understand.
it's gotten better since then.
Yeah,
It got better since then, but still, like a part of me missed when he was a good guy.
I understand how you
A big
feel,
part of
and
me.
it's because of what he went through, and he come back, and you're just not used to seeing that. You don't expect him to go back to a heel. I get that, but and don't get me wrong. When he first turned heel, it was a bit like oh, but once I started to pay closely attention to the storyline, the buildup between him and AJ, and then when he brought Damien in, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm really hooked and invested in this now. Again, it took I at first I was like I don't know, and then literally like I say like a week going into Mania, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm used to this now. I kind of like it, and then you bring Damien in, it's getting better now. Then you have the group, the Judgment Day. I'm completely hooked now. So I don't mind it. I didn't mind it. I know at first it was a bit confusing, but it doesn't take stuff long for me for me to process certain things. Not everything, but certain things. And I actually liked it. I haven't seen Edge as a heel in a long time. Do something a little bit different, change it up. It's I mean, it's kind of like Triple H. Like Triple H was a babyface for like I don't know how long, and then when he finally turned heel, it was like finally he needed that. And I think Edge wanted to turn heel because he kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, kind of like push himself a little bit,
Yeah, I hear you, but now we get the one good thing I will say came out of this. Now we get to see Finn Balor as a heel. That should be interesting.
which I've never seen before.
Yeah, Finn Balor is the leader of this group. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I want to see how well you'll handle it.
Even though this felt random and rushed and whatnot, I want to see how Finn Balor does as a heel on the main roster because
Let's hope.
he was doing the
Let's
heel thing on in NXT for a while, but now on the main roster, I want to see how it plays out.
let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and later that night on Raw, Rhea Ripley won a four-way number one contenders match to be the number one contender for Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank.
Which I knew was gonna happen. One of these days, ever since Rhea Ripley joined Judgment Day, I said, "Watch out! She's gonna be coming for the title anytime soon this year," and she is.
I thought they were gonna wait till SummerSlam, but looks like they're doing it now.
That's fine.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do like another rematch between Bianca and Becky, which I would have loved to see also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
But this will be good. This will be
Yes.
definitely something to watch, especially some of them after watching some of the matches they had in NXT, and also they were the last two in the Royal Rumble last year, if you remember that exchange.
Hmm. Yeah.
And now they're gonna actually have a real feud. This is gonna be fun.
Oh hell yes. I said, "Watch out! Watch out!" And I was right.
Also, on June 27th, we're gonna have the return
Yes.
of a man celebrating his 20-year anniversary of his WWE debut, and that person is none other than John Cena.
Damn, it's been 20 years. Damn.
It's going to be the 20-year anniversary of that SmackDown on the 27th, and that's
Oh
tonight he's
my
coming back.
god. It's been that long.
I remember it like it was yesterday, man.
Damn it. It's stuff like this that it makes me appreciate him more, man.
Nelly's "Hot in Here" was the hottest song in the country when John Cena debuted.
Oh my god.
Shit. And I Need a Girl Part 2. I Need a Girl Part 2 was also popping at the time.
Oh wow, which one do you like better, one or two?
Um, I have to slightly give the edge to 2.
Okay.
I like the whole video when they were in South Beach and the whole vibe it created. It was dope. Although I
Mm.
love the first one also. The first one was also dope. But anyway, let's get back into Cena.
I believe it's been 20 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I remember like when he first debuted, he was like almost close to getting fired, and then doing that rap for Stephanie McMahon is what saved his job.
Yup. Hmm.
Hip hop saving people. Hip hop always saving people's lives and saving people's jobs and all that good shit. That's why hip hop's important.
It is. Oh man.
Fuck those Senate people who were trying to get it canceled back in the early '90s.
Oh.
Anyway, and then Cena freaking did the whole rap gimmick for like a good 2 years, which I loved. It's probably my favorite version of him.
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely. I think that's everybody's favorite version.
And then he wins the title at WrestleMania 21, and then after that he won commercial, just like most of our favorite rappers do.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I wasn't as much of a fan of him after that, but I do respect what he stood for, and I do respect what he did for the company, and the fact that he cared about little
Absolutely.
kids so much too, and that he cares about little kids so
Yeah.
much.
You know what's funny? I think once LeBron retires, and I'm talking like for the people who hate on him and all that stuff, I feel like strongly that when LeBron retires, I feel like they're gonna like, you know what? I didn't like the guy, as a fan, but damn it, as a player, he was great. And like, damn it, I kind of, I miss that. Watch, just watch.
I feel that same way about Cena. Cena is definitely one person I did not appreciate enough when he was around regularly.
No, I kind of, I no, I'm not getting it wrong. I did appreciate him. It's just that I kind of just like, oh, I hate you. And then when he's gone, he's like, damn it. I'm like, fuck, I miss. I was like, damn it, I miss you. And even though like you champion a lot was annoying and all that stuff, and it was just like, damn it, I miss you. I appreciate all the stuff that you did for me as a fan.
Yeah, and I will admit, like, even when I wasn't the biggest fan of his, like, whenever he would disappear and would be gone for a while, you'd be like, damn, the show's not the same without Cena here.
No.
He made a difference, man. He made a huge, huge difference. I shudder to think what WWE would have been like if they didn't have John Cena for that decade plus period.
Big. I think would be a complete opposite.
Ooh.
Complete opposite.
But Cena came a long way from that 2002 debut to what he became, to eventually becoming the face of the company and being the face of the company for pretty much over a decade. And now the dude's like
Hmm.
doing movies and has like a crazy schedule where you basically see him everywhere.
Yep.
I don't want to say he's on the Rocks level per se, but yo, he's doing work right now.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he's still at that mainstream level, which is good though. It doesn't have to be compared to The Rock, but if you're still being noticed mainstream outside the wrestling world, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's he's been killing it the last few years. That movie Vacation Friends, I enjoyed. I personally enjoyed.
Hmm.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was funny. I still need to watch that show. The dude from Get
Vacation.
Out is in it. The dude from Get Out, the best friend.
Oh, for real? Wow.
Yeah, the best friend with the glasses who saves him at the end.
Works at the airport. Yeah. Funny.
Yeah, but anyway, so Cena's returning the 27th, and I have an idea of who his opponent at SummerSlam is going to be.
Theory.
Yes.
Because Xena had a little short little video talking about who he liked to face. He mentioned Theory, and then I saw a video of Theory wearing a Word Life shirt backstage.
Yeah, and also another scenario you could think about it in the sense that Cena was like Vince's guy like 15 years ago, and like who Vince made the face of the company, and now Austin Theory is like the
Yeah,
dude he's trying to groom for that spot.
yeah,
And I can imagine the
yep.
promo Cena's gonna cut on him. They're gonna be great.
On each other.
Theory can't hang with Cena in promos right now.
Oh hell, no, 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 no.
He's entertaining in his role,
I
but
know
he's
that.
not on Cena's level promo wise. Not now. No.
No, hell no, no,
And you know
no,
what's
no, no.
funny? Theories even open up in interviews about like when he was a kid, he used to look up to John Cena. Like when he used to get bullied and used to get fucked with when he was growing up, Cena was like the one person who like he looked up to and like was kind of his hero in a sense.
That's not surprising here. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan growing up during that era, of course, majority of the people you're gonna see, Xena is that guy. I mean, he was the face of the company.
Yeah, Theory's only 25. Yeah, so definitely he was during that era, like when Cena he was a kid when Cena was in his prime. Well, yeah, that should be a fun feud. I'm looking forward to that actually.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it'll be nice to see Cena back. It's always
It's always nice to see him back, man. Like,
he doesn't overstay his
especially,
welcome. That's why I like it. That's one of the reasons why I like it.
yeah. I mean, last dude, that him being here, seeing him there, last year, not just at SummerSlam, but building up to it, that was great to see.
Yeah, and what was also great to see was after our last episode 2 weeks ago, I watched Dynamite and I came across the MJF promo.
Finally,
Shoot.
what did you? Yeah, what did you think?
Mm.
I warned you, didn't I?
I think MJF doesn't like his job very much.
He has 2 years left on his contract, right?
2024 is when his contract expires.
Yeah, 2 years. Oh man, it's gonna be tough. 2 years.
Yeah, it was crazy how he referenced like, yeah, you don't want to pay me, but yet you want to pay all these ex WWE guys. Maybe if
Yep.
I was a WWE guy, you would pay me what I deserve.
Yep. Kurt, 2 years, dude.
Yeah, and then he just looks in the camera and he says, "Fire me! I want you to fire me, you fucking Mark! Fire me!"
You're speechless, huh?
Yeah, that promo, holy shit! That was like CM Punk's pipe bomb. That was what that was for him.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Yeah, he
That's what I
went
said.
ham. He went, and just the look on his face and the
Yeah.
intensity he had, like you knew this dude wasn't playing games.
No.
I'm sure like there's like some truth to like a lot of the stuff he was saying and like a lot of the stuff between him and Tony Khan, but I think like now it's obvious they're trying to turn it into a storyline.
Possibly.
Yeah, because I don't think MJ Khan would have let MJF go out there and say all that stuff with the freaking Warner
Mm.
executives being in the building that night. If he knew for
Uh,
sure MJF was gonna like just go to actually say what certain things that he wouldn't approve of.
yep.
But since then they've removed MJF from like the opening. AEW video package and like from the web page and all that jazz.
Are you
And yeah, I
serious?
guess they're really trying to make this shit look real.
Wow. 2 years, Kurt.
He hasn't been on TV since.
2 years. I could see if it was a year. If it was a year, that's like okay, but 2 years. Ah, ah,
Yeah, I like what he said about how like people were always hating on him, like not being a good wrestler and not having good quality matches.
bull,
He's
bull.
like, yeah, I don't have to like do all these flip moves and I don't have to do a bunch of bullshit to make you guys feel and make you guys care. And he's right. He's
Mm,
right.
mm.
That's the biggest difference
Hey, he was
between
right.
him and a lot of those other guys who do those crazy ass high risk moves. As fun as those moves are to watch, at the end of the day, the most important thing is how invested you are into the characters and into the story.
Thank you. And guys, for the younger audience, wrestling was not always like that. Everybody was doing a bunch of flips and crazy moves from the top rope and all that.
Trust me, they're great to watch. I love them, but at the end of the day, the story is where the
It
real.
gets. It, I don't mind it too, though. But I think for me personally, it gets a bit overbearing at times.
Yeah, sometimes it can be overdone, definitely.
Like the super kick, I hate it when a lot of wrestlers just use that as their arsenal. I
Everybody does it
hate
now.
that.
And the dive through the
I
second
know,
ropes
like
too. The dive through the second ropes also. Hell, even the frog
dude, like,
splash. Even the freaking frog splash doesn't feel special anymore. There's like at least five different people I
bro,
know who do it now.
it's a super kick for me that just like, dude, stop, please.
You better not let the young bucks hear you say that. They're gonna invite you to the super kick party. You'll be the guest of honor.
Huh, huh.
Yeah, but yo, he went ham in that promo. I'm just wondering when he's gonna appear next because he hasn't been on TV since.
Oh, he will be though. He's under contract for 2 years, Kurt. 2 more years.
Yeah, it's
He has 2 years left on his contract. He can't be off of TV that long. Come
I
on.
saw a post online earlier saying that dynamite without MJF is like pina coladas without the alcohol. You'll still drink it, but
It's funny.
you'll still drink it, but the main ingredient's missing.
Oh my god. Will you even drink it?
Yeah, I drank it. Fuck it, but it wouldn't be as good.
I know, but that's hurt. Oh my
But
god.
also that same week, that Friday, CM Punk came out to announce that he had suffered a foot injury and he would be having to take time off
Oh,
for the time
I
being.
thought it was his knee.
I think it was his ankle. It was his ankle or his foot. Like what? Yeah, I think it was his foot. Yeah, his foot.
Okay, because I noticed because when I was at Double or Nothing, I noticed there was something wrong with his knee.
Yeah, but I
And then when he announced that he was hurt, I was like, oh, it was his knee and it was his foot. I was like, oh,
yeah, because he
but
wrestled on
okay.
Dynamite that Wednesday, and during his entrance, he jumped into the audience, and I think he might have heard it there.
Oh Jesus, he can't be doing that. Damn it, damn it. You ain't. It's
Because if
2012.
you watch that match, there's like certain parts where like you could tell like he's not in sync.
Fucking hey, dude, okay. He can't be doing that. No more.
But yeah, he's gonna have to be out for a while, a couple months. I'm not sure of the exact timeline; it hasn't been said yet. But he is not forfeiting the title. Instead, there's gonna be an
Intern
interim champion
champion.
crowned at
Yeah,
Forbidden Door while in the time being while he's gone, and that interim champion will face CM Punk when he gets back.
the interim champion. You think that's something that WWE should have done?
Um, I don't know. I know UFC apparently does this a lot, and they did do this with the TNT title a couple months ago. Actually,
You think that's something WWE should have done?
it's
Maybe,
gonna be
depending on how long they're gonna be gone.
yeah.
Maybe
I think I'm not sure how long it might be. It might be maybe 3 months, possibly longer. But if he's gonna be gone longer than 3 months, I don't think it's a good idea to have an interim champion. I think they should just crown a new champion and then.
forfeit it. Yeah,
But
yeah, I
I guess
agree.
Tony Khan doesn't want to do it that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, CM Punk apparently was gonna forfeit the title, but Tony Khan said no, 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 we'll do it like this instead.
Okay.
It's gonna be between John Moxley and Tanahashi who will be the interim champion as they're going to
Hmm.
go against each other at Forbidden Door, which is the
Yes.
All Japan and AEW joint show.
Yes, which will be in Chicago.
Yes, it will. Yeah, but it's sad, man. Punk literally just got the title. It was a big, nice, great comeback story, and now he gets hurt.
Ah. Mm,
There's
mm.
actually a lot of people hurt in AEW right now. Yeah, CM Punk's hurt, Brian Danielson's hurt, Adam Cole's hurt, and this whole MJF situation going on.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got the injury bug going on now.
Yeah, I feel like it feels like there's kind of a dark cloud over AEW right now, and also now the Jeff Hardy shit going on.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
WWE's now under hot water too with this whole
Yep.
Vince thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shit,
That's what I'm telling you.
a lot of drama going on in wrestling
Yep.
right now.
News. 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 It's a different kind of news.
We should have our own news show with our like own like broadcast news show, kind of like Ron Burgundy talking about wrestling.
We should. We should.
I could wear the wig and the porn stash.
Oh hell no. And some girl tells you have bad hair. You're like, what did you say? And you get into a fight. I can
And then
see
she reads
that.
the news on my broadcast, and I have a nervous break.
But probably because you showed up late. I can
Shit.
see that. You're gonna lose it. Oh my god, I can
One of my
see
favorite
that.
scenes in that movie is the fight between all the rival news stations they have in the alleyway.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh my god.
It was announced on Friday that Paige's contract will be expiring with WWE next month, and it was their decision not to re-sign her.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, she
I
recently.
thought it was her decision not to resign.
I thought so too, but then she was doing one of her Twitch sessions on Saturday, and somebody asked her about it, and she mentioned that it was WWE's decision not to re-sign her.
Got you. Hmm.
I mean, she appreciates the fact that they try to keep her around for as long as they did, and like they try to use her in different roles for a while. But it's obvious, like now that there's not really much else they can do with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she put out the announcement on Friday saying that July 6th will be her last day with WWE, and she thanks them for the opportunity and for the fact that they took a chance on her being different looking, and her like not looking like the typical diva, and she made history, albeit in a short amount of time.
Hmm.
And now her name is now she's gonna be going by Soraya after she's done with WWE.
Soraya. Okay.
Yeah, and she
Hmm.
mentioned that she would be willing to go to AEW if the money was right,
Okay.
and she maintains she will get back in the ring eventually one day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be dope to see her wrestle again.
It would.
Edge made a comeback. Brian Danielson made a comeback. So I could see her making a comeback at some point. And bro, she's not even 30. She's not even freaking 30.
Oh yeah, I forgot. She's only 29. Well, she will be turning. She was born in '92, correct? She will be turning 30 in August, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's 29.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. She was like, what, 25 when she retired? Yeah, 25.
Wow.
I loved her those first 2 years though when she was there. Like when she
Oh
like
hell yeah.
when she beat AJ like the first night, the night after
Hmm.
WrestleMania.
Yep. I remember that.
And then they eventually turned her heel, which actually worked out better for her, I thought.
Hmm.
I thought her second title reign should have lasted longer, personally.
How long did it last? I forgot.
A month, because she turned heel. Then she won the belt back from AJ at SummerSlam, which was on her birthday, by the way. And then, yeah, she lost it at the next pay per view back to AJ. Yeah, but it is what it is. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
she had that things kind of went down for her when she had the relationship with Alberto Del Rio, and then she had the
Yeah.
neck injury that kept her out for a while. Yeah, that whole period was just a mess. Like you were hearing like negative stories and like gossip about her like on a regular basis. Even on Total
Hmm.
Divas, they were talking about it.
Yeah. I remember that. I tried. Yeah. We try to forget about that situation.
Yeah, but then eventually she did come back, and she had that Absolution stable with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, who are both killing it now. And then, like, yeah, like a month after she came back, she had that 6 woman tag at a house show in Long Island. And then Sasha kicked her like in the back of the head, in the back of the neck, and then that's what caused her to not be able to wrestle anymore.
Nice.
She said it was the most frightening moment of her life when that happened. Like she couldn't feel her arms or her legs. Scary, man. Yeah, but she said she doesn't blame Sasha for it. Like her neck was just in bad shape, and it was only a matter of time before she got hurt again.
Mm. Well, let's hope, hopefully, that she'll be able to come back in the ring though.
Yeah, that'd be great if she could. That'd be mad dope if she was able to wrestle at least one more time.
Yeah.
So apparently, it just came out last weekend that MVP and Chris Jericho got into a confrontation at a hotel lobby about after the May 18th tapings of Dynamite, in which I think MVP confronted Jericho, I guess, about his political views, and some there kind of thought that MVP was just joking, but then they soon came to find out that he was being serious.
Yeah.
Nothing really came out of the whole confrontation, but I think MVP might have challenged Jericho, and Jericho was getting in the elevator, and his response to MVP was that I don't fight jobbers.
Yeah, and it got more heated after that.
Or I can imagine, yeah, MVP lost his shit after Jericho said that. Apparently,
Uh,
yeah, they used to be cool. I remember they used to be
yeah.
cool, but apparently, like they've had a falling out in recent times, and I think, and from what I understand, that falling out is about Jericho's political views in recent years.
No.
Because I think I've told you about like how like some of the things he did during the Black Lives Matter protest 2 years ago after the George Floyd thing happened, and then
Hmm.
he was investing money into Trump's campaign.
Oh, that I did not know. I just heard his opinions. That part I did not know.
Him and Undertaker invested money into Trump's campaign.
Oh.
I wonder if MVP would have these same feelings towards Undertaker if that's the case. Because you watched Undertaker's documentary. Undertaker does not hide his political views at all.
No. I don't know. I think we shouldn't be really worried about that. I think it's because the fact MVP and Jericho were at the same place at the same time is why it happened.
And apparently Jericho's like changed in recent years. It's another story I heard roaming around.
Really?
Yeah, like just his demeanor and stuff, and I guess the way he behaves and carries himself. And also, yeah, I would never hear him post about like this kind of political stuff too before 2020. Like I never heard him like pledge his support for
No.
any candidate or anything like that.
No.
And he
No.
always came off as a cool dude to me. I always thought he was a cool dude. Like, and even now, I won't say I dislike him. I would just say like just some of those things I saw him say a couple years ago and do a couple years ago and pertain to those protests. I was a little disappointed in.
I understand though, but I mean, you there's a difference between somebody's political views and outlook versus where how they are as a person. That is yet to be seen from both of us because I almost met him in person and I didn't.
Yes, we know this story all too well.
Yeah, almost. So
And speaking of Republicans and Republican controversy, this is what Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, tweeted last week in regards to like the whole school shooting that happened a few weeks ago in Texas, and like the whole debate about gun control and all that that's been sparking up ever since then. Here's what he had to say: every violent death is a tragedy. That said, the mainstream media would have you believe that America is the land of gun violence and mass shootings when, in fact, as Hannah Cox points out, our per capita rates of gun deaths are actually much lower than many other countries.
uh, really, because we have like the highest gun violence death toll than any other country.
Yeah, how many mass shootings and like crazy random murders have we been hearing about, like going down in the most random places, like the last decade plus? Whether it's a movie theater, whether it's a nightclub, whether it's like
Yeah,
whether it's a massage parlor, like what happened in Atlanta last year, and now at schools and elementary schools at that. This shit's been happening here for the longest time, and you're gonna tell me it's not a problem?
that's what I'm saying, and also the fact that it's not as it's the other countries are higher. No, obviously he's not doing his research. It's been researched very well that other countries their mass shooting death toll rate is way lower than ours. So enough said.
And some of his wrestling peers were not happy about this tweet at all, including Lance Storm, including Mick Foley. And this is what X Pac said: "Breaks my heart reading this shit from you. What the fuck, man?" I've always liked Kane as a person. He's always seemed like a decent guy, and people have always said that about him. But he just does not come off well in these tweets, bro. He does not come off well.
Well,
It's like what we talked about a few months ago about reading the room, and yo, this dude just needs to realize that, like, even if you do feel this way, like saying this shit, especially now after what happened, you're not gonna gain the fanfare that you think you are.
a lot of things are not meant to be said.
Yeah, just a bad look. And today actually marks the 15-year anniversary of the tragic death of sensational Sherry.
Oh yeah, I read about that the other day.
Yeah, 15 years, man. Literally a week or two before the Chris Benoit murders happened, we lost Sherry.
Yeah. Oh.
Unfortunately, some of her substance abuse problems caught up to her, and that's what took her from us so soon. And unfortunately, she's no longer with us because of that.
Mm.
But before she passed, especially in the 80s and the 90s, that one of the best and one of the most noticeable female characters in wrestling, period.
Oh yes, definitely.
Her and Elizabeth were like two of those first like female wrestling personalities that really stuck out to me like when I first started watching wrestling.
And they're just on the manager roles, so they made a good impact.
Yeah, Sherry was like with so many top guys and so many top acts and like added so much to them from Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase, Shawn Michaels, and Harlem Heat. She definitely made a difference on a lot of people's careers, whether she was wrestling, whether she was a manager. She was one of those all-time greats that definitely the women of today could learn a lot from.
Absolutely.
Even with the wacky makeup and like the crazy ass makeup she would wear, I did find her attractive
Oh
in a certain
yeah,
way. I guess maybe the way she dressed.
yeah.
Maybe in the way she dressed is why I did.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, especially with DiBiase and Sean, I like that.
She wasn't with DiBiase that long, but yeah, I liked when she was with him after him
Hmm.
and Virgil split. Yeah, but I would say like as far as look wise, I felt like in a way she looked the best when she was with Harlem Heat, when she was Sister Sherry.
Hmm.
And she was there for the infamous interview when Booker T called Hogan the N-word.
Yeah, I know.
I love that. I love that meme on Facebook I saw once where like where like they're showing the Legends night and like Booker T standing behind Hogan and you see like Booker T with like a mean mugging look on his face.
Oh my god.
After 22 years, he's finally coming for you.
I can never get over that promo.
Oh man, but rest in peace to Sherry, WWE Hall of Famer as well. And thank God they were able to induct her the year before she passed away, and she at least got to be alive for it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And Tony Storm did a couple interviews recently on Renee Paquette and Jericho's podcast, basically talking about like why she left WWE, and it basically all came down to the fact that she just wasn't happy there anymore.
That's I mean, that's how she feels, and you don't want to work in a place where you don't feel happy at. You're not gonna when that happens, you're not really gonna put your heart in it.
Yeah, she could already tell by like when they called her up to the main roster, like within a few months, that it wasn't going to work out, and it probably wasn't going to get any better.
Yeah.
Because for one, they had her sitting in catering for like a good 2 months or so. Like they called her up to the main roster, they did all these vignettes for her, like about her debut. She had one match, and then you didn't see her for 2 months. And then when she came back, she lost like in 2 minutes to Zelina Vega in the Queen's Crown tournament qualifier. And then they put her in that little feud with Charlotte where she like got like hit in the face with like pies and shit, and she just stood there. And she actually said that was supposed to be worse. They said originally they wanted Charlotte to like strip her down to her bra and panties and like have her like standing there embarrassed, like instead of doing the pie thing.
Wow, going back to 20 years ago.
Yeah, and that was probably Laurinaitis' idea. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, probably.
She said like instead of doing that, she picked to do the pie thing, even though that wasn't any better.
Still.
And then she mentioned that like she was supposed to like there was gonna be like a 5 day of shows in a row, and she said she was only needed for one of them. So she wrestled one of those shows, and asked them like, "Yo, are you guys gonna need me for any of these other shows?" And they said, "No, you're good, you're good." And then like she's kind of expecting them to call her to make her come. And then like the next morning she wakes up, doesn't hear from them, so she goes about her day. And then as she's at the dentist, she gets like an emergency call from them saying, "We need you to fly to DC in 2 hours to work the show tonight." So she had to like leave her chair at the dentist, rush home, get ready, and fly to DC to do the match. And then like after she did the match at the show, she was just super frustrated and just had enough. And then she went to Laurinaitis and said like, "Yo, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore."
Wow.
And she said like even if they hadn't released her, she would have never gone back anyway. But she mentioned she's a lot happier in AEW. That she likes the fact that you have a lot more freedom there and a lot more like leeway there because WWE in a sense is the land of the no, like the land where they always tell you no to all your ideas, to no to anything you come up with,
Mm,
depending on who you are.
yeah.
And yeah, she seems like she's in a better place now. Like, and she feels like she can work a lot better when she's more relaxed and like not as uptight and like worried about doing the wrong thing and getting in trouble for it and all that jazz. Yeah, so she's in a better place in that regard.
Well, I'm happy to hear her. I'm happy for her that she's like in a better place, not just professionally but mentally too.
Make it a better place for these superstars in AEW. All right, but anyway, I think we've said what we needed to say tonight. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what comes out of this Vince story. Holy shit.
Hey, trust me. Me too, man. It's hot news, man. That's all it was. That's all it was today was hot news. And as journalists, we like that.
I think Vince getting hot was his problem in the first place.
Oh God.
Yeah, so until next time, for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of Clash of Champions. Stay out of trouble. Don't cheat on your wife, especially if you're in the position Vince McMahon's in. And just be responsible. More than anything else, just be responsible. Until next time, guys, take care.
All right, later.